unemployed. That is, the rate of unemployment is shooting in the country. There are irrational incentives against innovation, growth, and job creation in the country, together with too many Kenyans lacking a decent income, of course, and investment in Kenya being frustrated by persistent gatekeepers and rent-seeking by those in the government. I'll be having a conversation today morning right here on set with the CEO and co-founder of Onesha Technologies Limited, Bernard Nyangaka. He'll be sitting with me on set in a short while to have that discussion, of course, to understand how it is like to start and do business in Kenya, particularly for youth-led small businesses. And we're trying to understand the innumerable obstacles, unlike in other countries where entrepreneurs are encouraged and assisted to do their ventures. It's also a matter where we need to understand how exactly startups in this country are operating. How does the environment look like? What is the help of initiatives such as the Red Bull Basement Challenge, which closed yesterday, the HALT Prize, which is an invitation for startups, of course, to apply for that funding as well. This morning, Bernard Nyangaka, who I have just spoken about, who will be joining me in the lounge in a short while, is a winner of the Global Students Entrepreneurs Award.
Yes,
right. Yes. He'll be having a conversation with me. He won this in 2016 and went to the global finals in Bangkok, Thailand. He'll be helping me understand exactly how that helped his company, as well as what is the environment looking like for startups in the country. I'll be taking a short sip. We'll be coming back. Stay tuned. We are live all throughout all our social media platforms at KUTV Kenya. Tweet me up at Richard_Kenya. The conversation can be held on SMS and WhatsApp platforms that have been broadcast on your screen. Stay tuned. Now, Global Student Entrepreneurs Award is an award that is offered, or it is started by ensuring that they call out to all student-led entrepreneurship groups or startups all across the country to head out to the global finals. I'm trying to understand exactly how this is helpful to the youth and to the startups in the country. Thank you very much for joining me on set, Bernard.
Thank you, Richard, for having me. Always a pleasure.
Thank you. You are a regular here.
I'm a regular.
Yes.
I should get a seat somewhere in the office.
Definitely. You're becoming one of us.
Sure.
Yes. How has it been for you and Onesha so far since the last time you had the conversation?
It's been crazy since the last time I was here. I think that was back in 2019. Right. And I had a conversation with your very good friend, Noah, I think. I mean, it's been a very exciting past 1 year in terms of trying to understand our market, Onesha trying to reposition itself in terms of the customers we are targeting, expanding our customer segments, and trying to work with a diverse set of skill sets in our pool. For those who don't know, what we do at Onesha is Onesha uses technology to enable businesses access Africa's top creative talent, and by creative talent we mean creative talent in videography, photography, software development, web design, graphic design, and across 70 plus categories. Right. It's very interesting. Up to date, we actually have 1,000 plus creatives in our network. We normally call them Onesha Creative Network. Right. These 1,000 creatives have been able to do over 2,000 jobs in 10 different countries, Kenya being one of our biggest markets. And we're very lucky to have received support from various investors, both here locally as well as internationally, more so in the European market.
Right. When you started out, you called Onesha, which is a Swahili name.
Yeah.
For show, I guess.
Yes.
How is that? Maybe make me understand Onesha and the creatives, how that the name ties up to.
Interestingly, actually, the point was to enable creatives showcase their work in terms of if you're a photographer, if you're a videographer, showcase your work to the world. And how that relates to the business is, once we enable a business document what they do through video or through design or through software development, they're able to showcase their products and services to the world. That's how we sort of had to merge what creatives do, showcasing their work, and businesses benefiting from that showcase.
Right.
That creatives enable.
The Global Student Entrepreneur Awards, something that you participated in 2016. Yeah. Maybe make me understand that journey and how that helped the business.
Interesting. So GSEA, or Global Students Entrepreneurs Awards, is operated by Entrepreneurs Organization. Entrepreneurs Organization is a global organization with over 10,000 members in 52 countries, with the main headquarters being in the US. they operate the GSEA award, whereby they are looking at recognizing students who run businesses at the same time juggling classes.
Right.
So these businesses should at least be making 50K a month in revenue. And they normally do regionals, and then they do global finals.
Right.
In 2015, the regional finals were held in Kenya. The finalists got to represent Kenya in Washington, D.C. That was Wangeshi from Baluraha. 2016, it was held also in Kenya. Onesha won, and Onesha went to Bangkok, Thailand for a month. 2017, it was won by Towet Ngetich. He won it and went to Canada, Toronto, to represent Kenya there. 2018, it was won by the wonderful June Sioya.
She has been in the Forbes.
She was I think in Forbes, and she's top 40 under 40 Kenya women. She's now doing amazing work with digital marketing as well.
Good stuff.
She represented Kenya in Frankfurt, Germany. 2019, we had Henry Odhiambo, who runs a very interesting startup that enables students find places to stay while they're in campus.
Right.
So he went to represent Kenya in Macau, Hong Kong. So this year we're looking for someone to represent Kenya also in the global finals in a destination that will be communicated.
Right, and the deadline for the GSEA awards is today.
It's actually today, and anyone who is looking to apply for this competition, I will strongly encourage you to apply, because it gives you doors and opportunities for you to connect with people that think like you, and for you to have access to mentors who are able to enable you move your business to the next level.
What are the other benefits you feel are there with participating in such an award?
One, I think the most important critical bit is the networks you have access to. It may sound cliche, as most people say in terms of networks, but this GSC actually gives you the network. I'll tell you for sure, the mentor that I was attached to during my GSCA journey is now one of the main board advisors for Onesha. He used to run Byrant Kenya, which sold off to One Africa Media, actually. So he's one of the board members at Onesha, and he's been actually helping us since.
And this is something you got through participating in the GSEA?
Yes. Also, what GSEA does is, for the semi-finals, who are normally around 10 or 12, they give you mentors, and these mentors run businesses. These are people who run companies like Seal Africa, Thailand Carpet Center, VAT Furniture Palace.
People are experienced in business.
Very experienced people who run businesses, and some can actually be your customers. Some of these people that I was engaging with, they ended up being our customers.
Right.
So it gives you that access to the market that you need to, do proof of the market of your product.
Let's talk about funding.
Yeah.
How does it look like for you since you started, since you did the GSEA up to now, and how do you feel like the funding environment is in Nairobi and in Kenya for startups?
The funding environment, man, it's tough.
Right.
This is a very tough market to raise capital. I remember when we were trying to raise our very first seed round, it was very tough. We spoke to close to 70 people who were not even willing to put a dime in our business. But unfortunately, we had a very good relationship with Strathmore University, iLab Africa, Safaricom. We got some good support from Safaricom Upwiz, which actually gave us the launchpad to now access people who are able to put in money into the business. It took us close to 12 months to talk to businesses, and as we were closing off the fundraising round, we happened to come across a European group of investors who are willing to put in money to the business. Now, we're now looking at doing a second round of our fundraising for the business to enable us scale. But generally, this is a very tough market to raise capital, because capital here it's not patient.
Right.
It's not patient capital. For anyone running a startup or markets that are more geared towards supporting startups, they require patient capital. You put in money, you should expect at least returns in 10 years. Look at established markets, the US, Europe, partly Australia. These are markets that when someone puts in 10 million in your business, they at least expect maximum return in 10 years. Right. Here in Kenya, nilipe kesho. It becomes very difficult to raise capital.
So you have been, you have clients all across the world for Onesha, and that's a good thing. And you have been to Bangkok, Thailand, where you have observed the business environment and the startup environment for there. How is the reception in terms of startups in comparison to how the reception is in Kenya vis-a-vis abroad?
Kenya, in terms of actually, it's very difficult in the Kenyan market to find customers or businesses that are willing to test your product. It might be a software solution that you've built for agriculture, a software solution that you've built to solve logistics. In this case, Onesha has built a solution that enables talent in Africa to access jobs globally. So getting that test market in Kenya is very, very difficult unless you have connections, of course. So initially, I think in the Kenyan market, what you need to actually have is not technology first, is what you need to have initially is a solution that is geared towards solving the actual customer's problem. So if you are, say, building a solution for logistics, that is a very an industry that is operated by, you know, legacy business owners. So telling them about tech is very old. So this environment requires someone who has a clear understanding of the actual business, people who run these businesses, for you to get into that space. Compared to global markets, which is basically developed markets, the US, Europe, it's been very, very easy for us to actually have access to those markets, because once you have one customer in the US, you'll get 10 other customers. That because they actually...
And the work that you do.
100%. Once you give... because we are serving a global market, and a global market you have to give industry standard. They don't care if you're in Nairobi. You have to give industry standard that is at par with what the US offers. So once you give them maximum satisfaction, referral becomes actually 10x of what you actually get here in Kenya.
Right. Now, maybe back to Onesha. What are we looking at in terms of what Onesha is building currently and into the future?
Yeah. Currently, we are trying to automate most of our processes in terms of how businesses request tasks to us, be it software development, be it mobile app development, be it building up demand for their products and services through social media after COVID. We are looking at automating how these businesses plug into our system. An example is a business in the US might be looking to support a Kenyan designer. How do we make that connection seamless? A business in Mombasa or Kisumu might be looking for a pro videographer based in Nairobi. How do you connect them seamlessly using software? So that is much of the focus that we're looking at in the next 6 or so months, so that we make that experience seamless. In terms of business, we are looking at increasing the talent pool that we have at Onesha in terms of a diversity of skill sets, so that we're able to serve multiple business categories.
Now, for the creatives who want to come and join Onesha, how is the process looking like for them?
First of all, they have to be either referred by someone who knows Onesha. We have a very strict vetting mechanism for anyone who wants to join the Onesha network. So you have to be referred by someone who is within the Onesha network. We have to reach out directly to you based on either your work on Instagram or Behance or these social media platforms, so we have to reach out to you. Thirdly, you can apply through our website, whereby you send in your portfolio, your CV, as well as your links to your work. And that is onesha.co.ke, or you send us an email, creatives@onesha.co.ke. Our creatives director will be able to get back to you in less than 24 hours.
Right. Now, back to matters in the country, and I would love to get your view on this.
Sure.
They're saying that the BBI focuses on young people trying to start business and who are frustrated by how taxation works and all the barriers that are there to the thriving of business. It is calling for a 7-year tax holiday, I'm seeing here, for new businesses, which is obviously will be started by the youth. Do you think that BBI can solve the youth problems and the youth business problems in the country?
I mean, in any country that wants to progress economically, I think, of course, policy is very, very important in terms of what policy has been set to make the business environment friendly for entrepreneurs to start businesses. That is number one. And I think the president has done a very good job in setting up that environment. Secondly is the private sector involved in what politicians group together to do. For example, in this BBI thing, we've had as far as most of us know, we haven't seen anyone from the private sector who has been actually put there to actually say what do the youth want, what do businesses want. We don't know the type of consultation that was done for them to come up with those policies. So it's very, very important, even as politicians, they actually front someone during these launches, someone from the private sector, to actually say, this is what the BBI report means to the private sector. Most people who run businesses may not have the 2 hours time to read the BBI report, or they may not have actually that ability to translate that BBI report into actual business decisioning. So it requires someone from the private sector to enable entrepreneurs, to enable businesses, to enable founders, to enable any average Kenyan who is running a business to interpret what this means. When you say 7 years tax holiday, what does that mean?
Right.
It may sound fancy, but
What does
ground
it mean on
really
the ground?
different.
That's
So
true.
it becomes very difficult for you to do business. So I think it's very essential for politicians to involve the private sector in matters of policy and what the public see.
Right.
Right? So when you say you're going to solve the problem of unemployment by giving a wheelbarrow, that is actually a very good idea. It's not something that people should bash off. When you give someone a wheelbarrow, you actually should expect them to use that wheelbarrow for good.
Yeah.
So are they going to use the wheelbarrow for construction? Are they going to use the wheelbarrow for enabling people in Nairobi carry things from point
So
A to C?
specifically on how exactly it solves the problem.
How is it actually solving the problem? You may do it, yes, for public stance, but I think we need to have a very strong follow-up in terms of how these donations are done. Our politicians might want to achieve their own objective, but do we have someone from the business sector who ensures that these things that are being given by politicians end up to the youth?
Right.
And that is one of the key things that Onesha focuses on. How do we work with government, with various ecosystems, to create the next 1 million jobs in Africa profitably?
Right. Now, that means that there is need for better engagement of youth and enabling them to be part of tackling some of these challenges that they are facing and finding the solutions. Thank you very much for having this conversation with me. Unfortunately, we could not have enough time to go through all that we have.
Sure.
But you are a regular now. We can have
I'm a
this
regular.
conversation.
I should get a seat.
Definitely. Thank you for joining me, and good luck with Onesha.
Thank you, guys.
Yes. Now,
Appreciate it.
I'll be coming back in a short while to have a sit down with Oyo Clinton, who will help me understand and break down exactly into the very specific details of the BBI report. Of course, this is someone who is well versed in matters the law. So stay tuned. I'm taking a very, very short break and continuing this conversation right here on KUTV's Rise Today, Biashara Tuesday. Over the past 10 years, technology has revolutionized our daily interactions, transactions, and even how we think. It has progressed in almost every field imaginable in Kenya, with creation of amazing tools and resources that put vital information at our fingertips. I am Richard Okenye, and on Tech Voice this Tuesday, I take a look at technology evolution in Kenya.
Good morning. I'm excited to join you today as we unveil an innovative device financing solution.
When they are not giving you a cheap 4G-enabled smartphone for as little as 10 shillings or 20 per day, mobile network carriers like Safaricom and Airtel try to make your internet experience better. Partnerships with Google and Facebook have seen Kenyans enjoy benefits ranging from free Facebook to affordable YouTube data bundles for as low as Kenyan shillings 10. Throughout the pandemic, Kenyans heavily relied on the digital platforms to get informed, entertained, transact, and consume digital content. The rise of internet culture and technology has also birthed a new crop of online careers. Cloud, that was previously reserved for career entertainers and politicians, has become more accessible to everyday people who do not necessarily have to be outstanding in any other field other than being themselves. Globally, the US-based marketing agency MediaKicks estimated in 2018 that the influencer industry will be valued at 1 trillion Kenyan shillings by 2023, based on average advertising spent on influencers across 3 major social networks, that is Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Several of the telco companies in Kenya, such as Telcom, are actively engaging learning institutions to provide innovative internet packages for students, teaching, and administrative staff. Today, Kenyan businesses can access fast internet through world-class fiber optic links to the rest of the world, and fierce telecom competition has significantly lowered connectivity prices. The growth of technology hubs, parks, and accelerators in the past decade cannot be underestimated as they contribute to the expansion of the digital economy. Kenya has become host to a flourishing ecosystem where numerous software applications and services have emerged from the country's appetite for mobile transaction platforms. E-commerce has affected the operating models for businesses. Business owners must now incorporate online payments and delivery of goods to meet the expectations of their clients. Most businesses have abandoned physical shops, opting to sell their items online and use their houses to stock goods. Online and mobile applications such as PayPal, M-Pesa and e-banking have made queues a thing of the past. M-Pesa has in fact drastically changed banking in Africa, with almost 70% of Kenyan adults transferring money to each other using their mobile phones. This is the highest percentage of any other country on earth. More than 3.2 billion Kenyan shillings is transferred via Kenyan mobile phones each month. The agricultural sector has also benefited from technology. Farmers can now access markets online, eliminating brokers who for long had gained from their toiling. Online apps such as DigiFarm, iCow, and Soko Pepe have given farmers the freedom to choose who to sell to and at what price. Regarding health, mobile apps such as MyDawa, MTiba, and Medbit have been developed to offer Medicare solutions to millions of Kenyans who cannot afford doctor consultation fees. Kenyans can access information on diagnosis, treatment, and drug prescription for various illnesses. Petty cash transactions such as electricity bills, water bills, public transport, groceries, and many other such payments can be done just by the click of a button on smartphones or computers. The speed of transactions has also improved a great deal with the emergence of technologies such as till numbers and paybill accounts. With technology in Kenya receiving international acclaim, one can only wonder what direction is next for the future of tech in the country. Whatever comes next, the region promises to provide unrelenting support for innovation. It's going to be big. It's going to be huge. And it's going to make a lot of money. KUTV's Biashara Tuesday. That was Tech Voice, our technology segment brought to you by Biashara Tuesday. My name is Richard Okenya. Thank you very much for staying tuned. Known as the Silicon Savannah, Kenya has seen its information and communication technology sector grow an average of 10.8% annually since 2016, becoming a significant source of economic development and job creation, with spillover effects almost every sector of the economy. A report by the World Bank shows that, of course, even as we try and celebrate whatever it is that we've shown in terms of development in ICT in Kenya, we should ensure that the regulations and, of course, policy guidelines that support digital transformation in the country are strong enough to keep pace with the evolving market dynamics, as well as emerging technologies and digital entrepreneurship in the country. So we appeal into the government to make sure that those guidelines, those policies ensure that the digital transformation in the country has a strong and solid foundation and pipeline for digitally skilled talent. Now, the conversation I am having this morning, of course, is based on the launch of the BBI report yesterday. That is the Building Bridges initiative that was launched in the Bomas of Kenya by the President of the Republic of Kenya. Now, they are saying that the youth should read the BBI, should they? And how exactly is it helping the youth and the businesses in the country? I'll be coming back with Oyo Clinton, who is sitting with me on set today on KUTV's Rise Today, to help me break down from a legal perspective, someone who is an very upcoming, strong lawyer in this country, studied in the University of Nairobi and the Great Alliance High School. Right, we shall be back after a short break. Now, while the available avenues for channeling ideas and views such as social media have been given to spread all sorts of information, we want to understand exactly how important is it and what is the context in terms of the launch of the BBI report. Welcome to the launch on Biashara Tuesday. Thank you very much, Oyo, for sitting down with me.
Thank you very much, Richard,
right,
for having me here.
Okay, now tell me and bring me into perspective exactly what is the context for the BBI, first of all.
Thank you very much. To bring this conversation into context, I'd like first by saying that a country needs stability for us to continue with business and to make sure that we get the revenue that we need. So we had elections in 2017, and the elections were hotly contested. And the candidate that was not declared the winner, that is the NASA coalition, they contested the results, and they even went to court and they got their way.
Right.
But then after that, they refused to participate in the repeat elections, and they even called their supporters to demonstrations. And we even had the tear gas Mondays, whereby businesses had to be closed on every Monday. And you get that this affected our source of revenue. And it affected, you get that even those who opened their businesses, they opened for a short period of time. You get from maybe 8 to 11 when they know that the protesters will be hitting the streets in Nairobi, so they had to close by that time. And you also find that the instability in the country really affected our foreign relations. We found out that the visitors were not willing to come to Kenya, the tourists. So it also